Good morning, it's the Daily Thought for today, Wednesday the 30th of September, just in case you needed to know. We're looking at Acts, we're going through the book of Acts, and today we are starting chapter 2. So we're doing verses 1 to 13 today, very, very popular chapter. I'm sure you all know what it's going to be, but yeah, so we'll read together verses 1 to 13. I'll just share some thoughts, and I've been cheeky and I've not got one thought, I've got two thoughts. So yeah, all will be revealed as we read this together. So I'll just read these verses. So Acts 2, 1 to 13. When the day of Pentecost came, they were all together in one place. Suddenly a sound like the blowing of a violent wind came from heaven and filled the whole house where they were sitting. They saw what seemed to be tongues of fire that separated and came to rest on each of them. All of them were filled with the Holy Spirit and began to speak in other tongues as the Spirit enabled them. Now they were staying in Jerusalem, God-fearing Jews from every nation under heaven. And when they heard this sound, a crowd came together in bewilderment, because each one heard their own language being spoken. Utterly amazed, they asked, "Aren't all these who are speaking Galileans? Then how is it that each of us hears them in our native language?" Parthians, Medes, Elamites, residents of Mesopotamia, Judea, Cappadocia, Pontus and Asia, Phrygia and Pamphylia, Egypt and the parts of Libya near Cyrene, and visitors from Rome. Cretide ac Arabiaid, a rydym yn eu clywed hwyl llyfaru yn y hieithoedd ni am fawrion weithredodd Duw. Yr oedd pawb yn synnu mewn penbleth gan ddweud yn naill wrth y llall, "Beth yw ystyr hwn?" Ond roedd eraill yn dweud yn wawdlyd wedi meddwi ymaint. Both Jews and converts to Judaism, Cretans and Arabs, we hear them declaring the wonders of God in our own tongues. Amazed and perplexed, they asked one another, "What does this mean?" Some, however, made fun of them and said they've had too much wine. Now, I'm sure you noticed that I spoke another language just towards the end there. Now, I would have thought that would have created one of two reactions in you. If you are a Welsh speaker, your ears would have pricked up and you would have been like, "Oh, that's my language," and you'd have completely understood what I said. If you're not a Welsh speaker, you'd have been utterly confused and bewildered, going, what is she doing? I don't understand. And that is exactly how these people felt and how they reacted to this amazing thing that was happening. And when I first looked at this, when I was preparing, it reminded me of the story of the Tower of Babel in Genesis 11, when they were all getting, what's the word, too big for their boots, and they decided that they wanted to build this massive tower to the sky to show everybody how amazing they were. And God was like, no, I am God. And he caused them to all go from having one language to many languages, and they were confused and scattered. Here is kind of like the opposite. They come together asking, how can we hear each other's languages? And instead of being scattered, they came together. But it was God who did that too, and it was because they were all together. And they were amazed, and they heard their own tongues, and it's a beautiful thing. So that was the first thought I had from this, was the difference. You know, when we put God first and we all come together, God brings that oneness, even though it may be through different languages. Instead of being confused, they recognise each other's languages together in unity with each other's nation. And the second thing that obviously we've got to talk about when it comes to Pentecost is the fire of the Holy Spirit. And it says that tongues of fire, massive flame, separated and came to rest on each of them. And again, it's that sense of the one fire separated, still the same fire, but it rests on each of them. And we all need God's breath of fire to do absolutely everything in our daily lives. And it is that fire that we need. And it reminded me of a poem that William Booth, from the founder of the Salvation Army, wrote. And I'll just read it because it is really, really inspiring. And it says, "Thou Christ of burning, cleansing flame, thy blood brought gift today we claim. Look down and see this waiting host. We want another Pentecost. Send the fire, send the fire, send the fire. God of Elijah, hear our cry, to make us fit to live or die, to burn up every trace of sin and bring the light and glory in. The revolution now begin. Send the fire, send the fire, send the fire. 'Tis fire we want, for fire we plead. The fire will meet our every need, for strength to ever do the right, for grace to conquer in the fight, for power to walk the world in white. Send the fire, send the fire, send the fire. So yeah, those are my two thoughts for today. The thought that it's God who is in control of absolutely everything, but we've got to have our hearts right before him, and he uses whatever he needs to use to bring us in unity with him and with each other. And then the second thing of needing God's fire for our daily lives in everything we do and everything we face. Have a lovely day. Bye.